Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another reaction. We're finally checking out the full BTS album, Arirang. We have 13 songs, not counting Swim, which is the title track that I checked out on Friday. Thank you so much for all the comments on that reaction. Really appreciate it. Very excited about this one, as this is actually I think it's my first time actually reacting to a full BTS album. That has never happened before, which is kind of crazy with the amount of content that I actually have for BTS. Like, I reacted their songs, more so their music videos, and I've checked out some of the B-sides, and I've checked out a lot of the solo releases of the various members. I try to be like as supportive of the members as I can. So every time there's like a music video, I think sometimes I even checked out like some of the albums as well. I think Jimin, Jungkook, Yoongi, I think I checked out. We checked out RM's, Namjoon's like last album. I think he ended up releasing like a lot of the songs in the form of a music video. So I think I almost checked out the entire album. J-Hope, obviously. V, every time he had a music video, we checked out a lot as well. And Who L Jin, obviously we checked out his 2 albums, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So like I'm pretty sure that I've kept up pretty well. So surprisingly, my BTS playlist could be a little bit deceptive if you are checking it out purely for BTS group content, because I feel like half of the playlist, which is like 97 videos or 96 videos, is like solo stuff. So outside of that, I mean, then it starts to make sense why it does make sense that this is my first time reacting to a full album, but I definitely hope to make the most out of it. Now, as far as Arirang, which is the name of the album, we did cover the meaning of it in the Swim reaction, but just to reiterate, and maybe you guys are watching this channel for the first time and you haven't checked out the Swim music video reaction. So Arirang is originally like a traditional Korean folk song about longing and crossing a mountain pass. And back when we checked out Swim, a lot of fans thought that Swim basically represents the modern day equivalent, crossing the vast ocean to find home. Now, also going on the actual album itself, I do have an article basically kind of like giving you the gist of the meaning of it. So the album Arirang explores themes such as love, joy, longing, and the courage to persevere through life's changes. It reflects BTS's journey over the past 12 years, showcasing their growth and struggles. Each track contributes to a narrative about embracing life's ups and downs, resonating deeply with the experiences of their fans known as ARMY. So, with all of that out of the way, a quick little side note that maybe some of you guys are aware of already, but I will be checking out over at Patreon the documentary as well on the first week of April. So the documentary actually drops on the 27th of March, but I'll be reacting to it on the first week of April. And outside of that, there's going to be probably like a pinned comment, or the description rather, will include every single reaction I have on BTS over at Patreon, which includes Are You Sure with Jimin and Jungkook, includes D-Day with Yoongi, the documentary, every single episode of Run BTS, including the special ones as well. So there's a decent amount of content on BTS. So if you're interested, consider checking it out. And with that being said, let's get into it. Hopefully, this video does not go over an hour and a half. Let's go. Ooh. What you need?
What you need, Twan? What you need? I need the whole steady in the trunk.
Ooh.
Let's get on the front. I got my eyes on the row in the front. The vibe is high, feet being blunt. The vibe is high, let the build up.
Yo, that was such a nice touch. The vibe is high. If we're being blunt, you know, that's a nice play on words. Man, I miss this. Man, RM with the touch.
Need the whole steady in the trunk. Put your phone down, let's get on the front. I got my eyes on the row in the front. The vibe is high, feet beat blunt. The vibe is high, let the builder. From everywhere to Korea.
Oh, nice. That was a nice touch. Oh. Oh my god, I'm gonna body you. No, 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 no. Okay, let's chill with the crushing. Yo, this is one of the lines that I saw most often in the comment section. Is like, life is short, ditch the hate. You know, guns, knives, keyboards, put all of that away. Whether it's the ones that kill you in real life, the ones that lead you to succumbing to like some dark shit through virtual reality with the keyboards. Put all of that away. You know, life's too short to hate on anything and to have such, you know, dark shit in your life. Anyway, damn. Why get hung up on saving face? Drop it. Yeah. Damn. Man, I love the vibe of the song.
I need. What you need, Twan? I need. What you need? I need the whole steady in the trunk. Put your phone down, let's get on the front. I got my eyes on the row in the front. The vibe is high, feet beat blunt. The vibe is high, let the builder. Big deal from everywhere to Korea. 총칼키보다 좀 길어. 인생은 짧아 중간은 비워. You speaking in real life. 말 치면 따져 내려나게 임마. 좀더 가까이 와서 skin to skin. I need somebody to body.
Whoa. That sounds so grand. Yo, this beat is dope as shit.
It's so tight. I mean, no I side. I mean, 우리만의 그 style. I mean, we living the life. 두 눈을 감지 않은 내 밤. 솟구치는 결의 맘. Be a body, be a body, be a body. You could see a body, or you read about it.
Oh. Damn, V. From Jimin to Jungkook to V to Jin, beautiful. Like that pre-chorus, like I was blown away with the way that Jimin and Jungkook delivered it, and then I almost had like a resurgence of those same feelings when V and Jin did that. Like this whole song is already like, the lyrics are basically kind of like BTS spirit personified, you know, and the fact that this is the first song of the album. It's like we never change despite all the things that may have tried to change us. You know, we still rise above the hate. We still lead by example. We are the change that we want to see in the world. We don't want to be something that we read about. We want to be that, be about it. You could see about it and see to seeking out your true self and like be the change that you want to see, or you can just read about it and just be, you know, like everyone else and go back to like the whole knives, keyboards, and guns and all that kind of shit.
It's so tight. I mean, no I side. I mean, 우리만의 그 style. I mean, we living the life. 두 눈을 감지 않은 내 밤. 솟구치는 결의 맘. Be a body, be a body, be a body. You could see a body, or you read about it. I need somebody to all of your body beside me.
This is a perfect opener for a live concert too. Oh, and the... Oh man, the traditional elements. That's so pretty. Keeping the spirit of BTS. Oh my god, that is so nice. That feels like it could belong on like the Olympics opening or something. Damn. Holy shit. Oh, damn. Holy shit, that was amazing. And like the traditional elements during that bridge were so cool because they literally talk about the spirit of our kin, which is like the cultural, the nation itself, right? Like the rise of, you know, maybe they even talk about like K-pop just in general, like the tremendous kind of like tremendous curve that it took, you know, when it was already kind of like making, you know, BTS kind of like being in charge of really kind of like blowing up those doors in a way, and now like K-pop in 2025 and 6, and then if you think about like K-pop Demon Hunter, and I believe that movie actually kind of like made history as well at some award shows. I don't really follow all the Academy stuff, but you know, it is really fucking cool. And the song again, like I love how like it has like this groove to it. It has like this spiciness to it. If I just listen to the chorus, I would imagine like a very spicy music video, but then the lyrics and the verses are like so like empowering, and it's BTS, you know, which I thought was really, really cool. Rise above hate, put the guns, put the knives, put the keyboards away, you know, and just, I love, like, I need somebody like you, somebody and everybody like you. Like everybody has like it within them to be better. And like low key, one of my biggest like pet peeves, I guess, is whenever I react to like a live stage or something like that, the first thing that I see is everybody's like doing this with their phones, and I'm like, oh man, like I love the line like put your phone down, like not everything, like trying to document it just makes the experience, like you save it, but it becomes less memorable, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, it just the kind of thing that always kind of like grinds my gears a little bit whenever I watch like concerts and stuff like that over at Patreon. So it always blows my mind what like half of the audience or the entire audience is like this. Like, put that fucking phone down, just enjoy it, you know? Like they used to fucking. Anyway, this was an amazing song. Let's keep on going. Oh.
Watch this beat going hooligan.
Oh man.
We acting a fool again. Hooligan. Watch this beat going hooligan. Why this baseline slapping so rude? Dropping lower. Watch this beat going hooligan. Man, I'm about to blow fuse. 동제 볼륨 머리 춤. 뛰어 미친 노인들. Me everywhere, Ursu. Somebody move. 다들 모여 하나 둘. I can never ever choose. Every one of you amuse.
Ooh.
Watch this beat going hooligan. We pop out, we acting a fool again.
Ew, holy shit, that is a disgusting beat. And like the way it gets chopped up, like you hear like that classical like melody, and then you hear like almost like this sort of stutter. That is so freaking cool. Goddamn. Every one of you is a muse. Yeah, all of you are inspiration. Damn.
Watch this beat going hooligan. Man, I'm about to blow fuse. 동제 볼륨 머리 춤. 뛰어 미친 노인들. Me everywhere, Ursu. Somebody move. 다들 모여 하나 둘. I can never ever choose.
Like you hear that choppiness?
like a campus. Beat drop, we dancing. Watch this beat going hooligan. We pop out, we acting a fool again. Hooligan. Watch this beat going hooligan.
Man, this bass don't stop it so wrong. Trapping lower than chop the screw.
Hooligan. Watch this beat going hooligan.
I go cool, crazy, logo same me. Like it cool, 굳이 말 안 해도 알잖아. Hooligan like hooligan, 때려 부셔 like hooligan. 시간 됐으니 좀 비켜좀 말걸리 이상 mode.
Okay.
Take you out. What's the future? What's the now? This is international. Make it unforgettable.
Watch this beat going hooligan. We pop out, we acting a fool again. Hooligan. Watch this beat going hooligan.
Yeah, we the mess, gonna get a bigger mop. Yeah.
Oh,
This a cake, gotta get a better pop. Yeah, you
that K-pop. Damn, that's a nice touch.
round the clock.
Why this baseline slap
BTS clocking in. Holy shit.
lower than chop the screw?
Hooligan. Watch this beat going hooligan.
Why this baseline slap is so rude? Dropping lower than chop the screw.
Hooligan, watch this beat going hooligan.
Holy shit. I love that both of these songs back to back have like this grit to them, and Hooligan might have even more grit. Body to Body is like there's something almost like intoxicating about Body to Body, but Hooligan is just flat out. You kind of like listen to the instrumental and everything, and you make a stank face. Like I love the fact that BTS uses this song almost like in a villainous way, like some of the lyrics and everything, equating themselves to like hooligans and like El Kukui. I think El Kukui. I think now I remember why that sounds familiar. There's a former. I don't know if he's still fighting. Tony Ferguson was a UFC welterweight and lightweight, I believe, fighter, and he was very close to fighting for the championship. And I think his nickname was actually El Kukui. So that's why it sounds familiar. But like them equating themselves to El Kukui, like a Baba Yaga source, like a boogeyman, like you don't need to spell our names to know who we are. It's almost like the one who shall not even be spelled at all, like a Voldemort of sorts. Like when we arrive, it's gonna be a fucking crime scene, hooligans, wreaking havoc and all that kind of stuff. It's like it has like some sort of like villainy to it, and like the instrumental is so nasty and dirty in the best way possible, while still having like a very like angelic chorus that again kind of has like a little bit of that sensuality to it, ironically. But it's like our return is so gigantic, and so like we're gonna set the entire stage on fire. But it's like delivered in a villainous manner, even though it's obviously they're the main fucking hero.
Mike will
Disco, beat 제목도 here 지루하고 따분해 모든 게 시간은 참 빨라 틱탁 스타일음으로 힙합 도대체 뭘 더 고민해
Yeah, that's not Suga, that's August D. Holy fuck.
Mike will
Disco, beat 제목도 here 지루하고 따분해 모든 게 시간은 참 빨라 틱탁 스타일음으로 힙합 도대체 뭘 더 고민해 태생부터 다른 세븐일 부러워하네 저 civilians 굳이 설명하기 힙합 스타일음으로 힙합 도대체 뭘 더 고민해 Hello you're new money. Oh my god, do I look too funny? More uncontrolled, just move for me, yeah, move for me.
From the gutter to the hot water, baby, now, yeah, we A-list. If you wanna hit the house, you better miss a night, yeah, we A-list.
Ooh.
It'll try to react.
A-list, and then don't joke, cause I'm rising. A-list, A-list.
Wait, let's take it back. I want to take it all the way back before we go to the refrain with Jimin and Jin. But like again, like it's almost like every single one of the songs is gonna have like like at least a bit of a touch to like their roots and like the culture. If you want to hit my house, shoes off at the door, like be respectful, motherfucker. Bow 90 degrees as well while you're at it. You know, that was really, really cool. And there's like already so much going on. So obviously there's like the references to the Korean and mainly Asian customs of removing shoes indoor. So BTS are basically like demanding respect, much like when I said about the bow, from the ka, na to the ha. So ka, na, and ha refer to the beginning and end of Hangul, the Korean alphabet. Ga, na, da is the Korean equivalent of ABC, with ha appearing as the final consonant in the traditional order. The phrasing from the kana to the ha thus denotes the full spectrum of the Korean writing system. By claiming to cover the entire alphabet, BTS asserts complete mastery over Korean language and culture. The following lines, "We aliens," positions the group as outsiders or extraterrestrials within the broader music industry, foreign in the context, yet operating from a place of total cultural fluency. There's Jungmori. Jungmori is a rhythmic structure in Korean traditional music, so there's a lot of like already touches on like Korean customs and like culture just in general. But I love Yoongi's line. So what I really love about Yoongi's line is, "Green with jealousy, those civilians won't waste my breath to explain to the stadium, gather up, why are you still worried?" And before I talk about it, I do believe that this song specifically more so touches on the hatred and the attempt at discrediting BTS's success from a Western media perspective rather than anything that has to do with like K-media. Because when I first saw some of those lines and Yoongi delivering them, I did think that maybe it has something to do with his own incident back in 2024-ish. But because they address themselves as like these aliens who are fully equipped and fully proud of who they are, where they come from, and they're not afraid of referencing their culture over and over and over again because they're proud of it, in a world that basically tries to throw it back at them and make fun of them for their appearance, for that same culture that they're proud of, and tries to discredit them because they cannot possibly fucking understand how BTS could be so gigantic and so insanely successful to a degree that is almost like unexplainable. So the civilians is more so like to imply like journalists, media outlets, and internet, sleuths and whatever, who try to spread their dislike to BTS. So it could relate to, I'm reading here from the Genius annotation, it could relate to Western media outlets who critique BTS for their music, concept, and culture. They become jealous of BTS's success because they cannot understand how does a group that does not sing in English, which they do, but I guess some of their songs don't, but they cannot understand how a group that does not sing in English could have the legacy that BTS has. And there has been a lot of cases where, I've seen videos of like TV hosts in various countries like mock BTS's like appearance and their culture and like doing all kinds of like parodies and costuming and whatever that just is not funny. Even if I'm trying to be the most charitable, it's just flat out malicious and very like second grade kind of like humor that if you grew up just a little bit more to fifth grade, you would understand how dumb that is to make fun of someone for their appearance or their culture, or something like that. Like, so the alien does have to do with the fact that You know, I'm an alien in this world and I'm still so fucking successful. So you show me the respect that I fucking deserve. Obviously, with the shoes off at the front door. Like, even if we come to, it's like, even when we're at the States, for example, you will show us respect in a way because we achieved more in your country than you have in yours, which is kind of wild. But, you know, it's still like BTS are very big on the whole, like, show me some fucking respect. Oh my god, do I look too funny? Like, literally making fun of either their appearance, their choreography. This may represent how the band does not fit Western beauty standards and have a different dynamic when compared to Western boy groups. You know, so like our boldness and our choreo and our, you know, presentation, do I look funny to you? If you don't like us, why are you wasting your breath on us? And the reason why is because green with jealousy, you know, because hating on us is gonna give you more clicks, more likes, to gather more of those dumbasses that hate on us for the same reason that you do, not because they can understand it or respect us, but just because we are different, you know. So anyway, love the song so fucking much already. Let's take it all the way back.
Mike Wilmer. Disco, beat up, 제목도 here. 지루하고 따분해 모든 게 시간은 참 빨라 틱탁 스타일을 힙합 도대체 뭘 더 고민해 태생부터 다른 세븐 에일리스 우리 부러워하는 저 civilians 굳이 설명하기 힙합 스타일을 힙합 도대체 뭘 더 고민해 Hello dear new honey 방귀 흔들어준 money Oh my god do I look too funny 뭐 어쩔래 just move for me yeah move for me
I love the gunshot sounds too. They're literally firing shots. And actually, if you think about it, show some respect, we aliens. Out of the east, the sun's rising. This could refer to Korean culture rapidly rising, or it could also represent how alongside the band's rise, East and Southeast Asian culture media has started gaining global recognition. The sun also appears to rise from the east, but only exactly due to east on two equinoxes, spring and autumn. The album was released on the day of spring. Okay, but what I was going to say is when a guest shows up at your fucking house, you're supposed to be fucking respectful. When we show up in your house, you're nothing but disrespectful towards us. Anyway.
Honey, talk about the business. Everybody know now where the K is.
Again, the K.
저주하니 아직 흉측대길 빠른 기구생님 tell me how you feel 영원 또 나밖에 못해봐 that is how we kill 눈만 또 허벌하게 큰 너희가 말해
Oh my god, that was so nice. There's gonna be like a major pause warning, but sorry not sorry. Still cursing us out, misfortunes turn into blessing, which is literally like fortune telling or something like that. You know, taking something negative and turning it into a positive. They also say Kim Gu Sung Sing Nim, which means it's a Korean independent activist and statesman who served the sixth and final president of the provisional government of the Republic of Korea in exile during Japan's colonial rule. Holy shit, we're learning so much history. A key figure in Korean independence movement, he organized and supported armed resistance against Japanese forces, including the Korean Liberation Army. Holy shit. So the title Song Sing Nim is an honorific, meaning teacher or respected elder, reflecting the reverence with which he is regarded in Korean history. Addressing him directly in the lyrics invokes his legacy of anti-colonial resistance and the unresolved pursuit of reunification. Holy shit! But what I really love is the fact that Namjoon is like, he's the member that has the most, like, he's the one that speaks the best English, and he references here right now, I'm the only one who can speak English, but that is how we kill. You know, he is the quote-unquote English speaker in the group, which earned them doubts from the Western media because he's the only one, and their language barrier haven't hindered their influence, and instead a part of them and how they succeed on their own terms. So just the fact that I'm the only English speaker in the group, it's not something that hindered us. It was something that was a fucking killer for us. You guys with those big eyes say, oh, okay, that could be interesting. So it could refer to Western people with bigger eye shape. BTS endured a lot of racism over the years, especially in America. These people often first point out their Asian eye shape. God damn. And again, the touch with the pre-chorus, do I look funny because of the appearance, the culture, the choreo, and everything else. Holy shit, this song is fucking wild. I love it.
Let me honey talk about the business. Everybody know now where the K is. 어디까지 가니 이런 제길 저주하니 아직 흉측대길 빠른 기구생님 tell me how you feel. 영원 또 나밖에 못해봐 that is how we kill. 눈만 더 허벌하게 큰 너희가 말하길. Are they for real? For real? Hell of the year new honey. 박수쳐 흔들어준 머리. Oh my god, do I look too funny? 뭐 어쩔래 just move for me, yeah, move for me.
From the ghetto to the high, 우리 보고 배운 날, yeah, we aliens. If you wanna hit my house, 신발을 벗어나, yeah, we aliens. 어쩜 그래, shameless. Yeah, 이래처럼 we aliens. 해는 동쪽에서 rising, aliens. Never live every day. 모두 everybody day. 매일 밤 summer day. Yeah, we're living that. Aliens, aliens.
Ooh. Oh, that sounds very militaristic. Ha, you know? Almost like they're marching on. Damn. Holy shit, that was insane. This might be like the coolest song from this album so far, and we're already like Body to Body might be my favorite still, but Aliens might be like the most impactful so far because it's like it's a diss track of diss tracks from some of the stuff that I heard in K-pop specifically. Like I love like the constant referencing to the culture, like constantly rubbing it in your face while also telling you off as well. You know, we never shied away from the culture. We never shied away from doing bombastic choreo or like the outfits that we do, the concepts. You want to laugh at us. Who's laughing now? We're laughing all the way to the bank or the stadium while you're laughing at us because that's the only thing that might bring you some attention and some views and maybe a little bit of money because you might think that it's a cool thing to do to hate on a group that most people adore. I love the fact that they quite literally like celebrate not just their success, they celebrate their roots and their culture while telling everyone off and being like, we're the biggest thing at your fucking house. We arrive at all these countries and we're the biggest thing in town and you cannot fucking stand it. But when you have nothing good or productive to say, you resort to, some first grade fucking humor or kindergarten fucking humor, mocking our appearance or our choreo and just, pointing at us instead of actually having something of significance to say. Okay, that sounds interesting. I love how dark this album is so far.
Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. She wanna dance on fire. Everything gas is fire. Oh, I see what you're saying. Everything lit is fire.
Oh, are they referencing Fire too?
Everything big is fire. She wanna dance on fire. Everything gas is fire.
And also, it reminds me of J-Hope literally being set on fire and walking around and whatever, right? Holy fuck. But also, could it be like a double reference to Fire by BTS and the J-Hope solo as well? Not sure. And just being fire, But in Fire, they do burn the hater, basically. But doesn't Yoongi shake his hand too in the beginning or something like that? Anyway, holy shit, let's take it back.
Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. She wanna dance on fire. Everything gas is fire. Oh, I see what you're saying. Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. She wanna dance on fire. Everything gas is fire. No one's getting too close to fire.
Give me that gasoline. Give me that make me feel. Give me that make me sweat.
Themed Travis Scott reference?
Read the flame go wild. It's 200 degrees.
Club go psycho. Might take you viral. I go full thriller tonight.
Ooh, crazy like Britney. Nice.
Hit me with it one more.
One more time, it's Britney, bitch. Nice.
Everything lit is fire.
Oh my god.
Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. She wanna dance on fire. Yeah, everything gas is fire. Don't stand too close to fire.
My god, what the fuck?
It's fire.
Wait a second back. Holy, this... We're just 4 songs in. This is one of my favorite albums of the year so far.
Something I can't forget.
Burning out with my slime. Read the flame go wild. It's 200 degrees.
Club go psycho. Might take you viral. I go full thriller tonight. Club go crazy like Sweetie baby. Hit me with it one more time.
Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. She wanna dance on fire. Yeah, everything gas is fire. Don't stand too close to fire. It's fire.
Yo, this is gonna be my fucking ringtone. Holy shit.
Club go psycho. Might take you viral. I go full thriller tonight. Club go crazy like Britney, baby. Hit me with it one more time.
Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. She wanna dance on fire. Everything gas is fire. Don't stand too close to fire.
What the f-
Like
Respectfully, let's take it back. Because what the yo. Holy fuck, this. It's gonna be one of those albums, right? Where every song that pops up, I'm gonna be like, well, this one's my favorite, this one's my favorite. I was really holding off with Body to Body being my favorite so far, but I think this one is my favorite right now. If this had a music video, holy shit.
Too close to fire.
Let me take it back one more time. Hit me, baby, one more time.
Too close to fire. It's fire. Everything is fire. Everything big is fire. Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. You wanna dance on fire? Yeah. Everything gas is fire. Don't stand too close.
I don't even know what to say. Like, this song is my favorite from the album. Aliens is still the most meaningful one so far, obviously. But I love the fact we can talk about the meanings. We can go deep with some of these songs, and then we can just fucking tear the house down and just have a fucking fun-ass reaction as well. Like, it seems like this album is one of those albums where we can do both. They're not mutually fucking exclusive, so I don't have to feel like I'm ruining a reaction or something like that. But holy shit. So let's see if there's anything that was said about the song. Apparently, RM said, I was just riding a bike and I was like, let's fire. And thought, like, why can't we have a song like this? Suga said, I always wanted to do a song like this, so when I was writing the lyrics, I wrote it in a way that will give the listeners a good laugh. RM also contacted JPEG Mafia himself to work on this song. This might be one of the most hype songs by BTS I've ever heard. Like, this could be like an amazing, like, I don't know if opener, because Body to Body sounds like an amazing opener already. But like this song, like the kind of like buzz that it could generate, like I can only imagine if they do choreo for this song, let alone if this song had a music video. Like it would be like the most mature BTS music video of all time. Anyway, let's keep on going. We have a song called 2.0, so I'm gonna look up if there's like anything significant that I should know about the song before we even start. So the song 2.0 from Arirang serves as a symbolic declaration of renewal and transformation. The title 2.0 suggests a new version, upgraded or an evolved version. So a 2.0 version of me or something along those lines. Okay, let's start.
방탄처럼 그게 말은
Done. Let's go.
우린 팀툴 누가 맨날 뛰어넘네 웃기기는 한데 사실 안 웃기지 10년은 말야 어린 반푼 어치 stop
Oh.
Pull up at your block, we gon' knock, 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 knock. Yeah, head up, let it fun, fella. Pop, 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 pop. Yeah, came back for what's mine. We don't stop.
You know how I do. You know how I do.
Put your brand new. Put your brand new. Yeah, we on that brand new. You know how we do.
Ay, ay, ay. 그래 기분 멋지 brand new. 백 다른 스텝 뒤지게 하는 step 2 Step 2 2.0 take down who 여기저기 또 한 번은 내 10 out of 10 10 이젠 버려 모습 하품 수고하러 가 Ay, yeah, 위기 다시 스코어하러
Yeah, pull up at your block. We gon' knock, 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 knock. Yeah, had your little fun, fella. Pop, 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 pop. Yeah, came back for what's mine. We don't stop.
You know how I do. You know how I do. Put your brand new. Put your brand new. Yeah, we on that brand new. You know how we do.
Pop, 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 pop. Baby, get to let rock, 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 rock.
Yeah, hit him up like pop. Hit him with the truth like rock. Time to pay your debt. Feel me not. Let it be, let it bleed. Hit a lick, and it's split.
Stop, yeah. Pull up at your block. We gon' knock, 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 knock. Yeah, had your little fun, fella. Pop, 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 pop. Yeah, came back for what's mine. We don't stop.
You know how I do. You know how I do. Put your brand new. Put your brand new. Yeah, we on that brand new. You know how we do. You know how I do. You know how I do. Put your brand new. Put your brand new. Get me on that brand new. You know how we do.
Holy, what the fuck? You know, this song is really, really cool because for some reason it threw me back to like Run BTS, the song, not the variety show. But it's like, instead of Run, they're riding, I wanted to say cruising because like the song has like a vibe of like BTS, like being in like some indestructible fucking bulletproof no pun car, riding. Everybody wears like cool fucking sunglasses and somebody is in the front. It's kind of like riding like this or some shit like that. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's just it had like a not an elevated version of Run, but like a almost like a would gangster version of Run BTS make any fucking sense here? I'm not really sure how to describe it, but for some reason I thought of that song. But this, obviously, some of the lyrics go into collect, take the time to get back to the grind as they went for the military enlistment, all their activities halted, now they're back on the grind, and now it's like BTS 2.0. But also there's like an interesting line in the beginning, we're a vault. Always someone vaulting over us. Always somebody trying to either top us, or I also saw somebody mention how everybody's like asking, who's the next BTS? Who's BTS 2.0? We are BTS 2.0. Nobody is topping us. The only ones who could top ourselves is us. So 10 years doesn't even scratch the surface, you know, everything that we've been through. So now they're coming to collect what is theirs, like the asses and seats, the streams, the views, the fame, the love, and everything that they kind of like not necessarily missed. Obviously, I'm sure that they still got hella love, but the music that we couldn't put out as a full group for so long, now we're back to collect and get what is ours. So we're back on this fucking grind. You know, so feeling like brand new, almost like this military enlistment in a way, of this break that we took, that we were forced to take. It almost like forced us to reassess things, throw away the unusable junk, you know, basically think of what I don't need anymore, becoming a better, stronger mentally, emotionally person due to the enlistment and everything that has transpired while being in that military service and whatever. Like, obviously, I can imagine that it would probably like make you, you know, sharper, force you to be stronger in a way. So that 2.0 update is basically it almost like forced us to update ourselves. And I love like had your little fun. It's almost like, oh well, you had fun while we were away, it's now our time to take back what is ours in a way. It's almost like, you know, if we're thinking of like mafia movies or some shit like that, like BTS is like the kingpin, they went to prison, so to speak, and now everyone else is trying to take the top spot, and BTS is back from prison, and they're like, what up bitches, we're back, and they murked everybody because nobody tops us, or something like that. Like I'm making an unnecessary thriller gangster mafia movie out of this, but you get the idea. Anyway, the song was really, really dope. Again, this album is like hella gritty, dirty, intense, and just like very like raw in a way. So obviously the addition of a song like Swim, which is a little bit in contrast, provides like vulnerability and like the sensuality in a way, and just a change of pace that is very welcome. So obviously we already checked out Swim, so I'm not going to react to it again, but we do have what I believe is going to be actually an instrumental song called Number 29. As far as I understand, RM actually said this track, Number 29, is the resonant and tolling of the divine bell of King Songdok, designated as South Korea's national treasure, number 29. Let's hear it. Oh, okay. Literally a divine bell. The track is still playing, but it was that one bell, and you know, now it kind of like fades out very, very, very slowly. So, out of respect, I'm gonna play it till the end. Interesting. Well, that's almost like a way to signify a shift in the album, as it went from like gritty, brash, talk your shit, and then the bell happens, right? The divine bell of King Songdok, number 29, and then it goes to Swim, which is a shift in the entire concept of the album, or like the direction of the album, or the sound rather. So after Swim, we do have a song called Merry Go Round.
I wish that I could tell you that it's over. I wish that I could walk away from pain. My life is like a broken roller coaster, but maybe I'm the only one to blame. I can't get on this merry-go-round.
여전하지 매일 같은 일상 속 회전목 하나 쳇바퀴나 매일 한 가지 답이 없는 질문 미궁 속에서의 질주 다들 괜찮은 척하며 웃고 있지 모두 다
Oh, that was such a nice touch. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that was such a kind of reminded me of Yoongi's song with was it Woo-sung? Snooze? Like everyone putting smiles, pretending to be fine. The song is different because Snooze, it's okay to put the snooze button and like take time off and whatever. But at the same time, like the whole merry-go-round, which is a hamster wheel, like you're just another clog in the machine and whatever, and feeling like you have more questions than you do answers. And even like the beginning of like feel like I'm a grown up now, but my worries are just the same. It's like still trying to find myself, even though I'm almost like thinking when you were younger that by this point you would already know the meaning, whether it's life or who you are in this world, what you're supposed to do. But at the end of the day, you're basically just another person that pretends to be fine like the rest of us, who would rather put on a smile than to actually say how they really feel. Damn. So BTS in the song basically explores the repetitive and cynical, cyclical nature of life, emotions, and relationships. The title itself refers to a carousel symbolizing a continuous loop when one returns to the same point despite the movement. So yeah, literally thinking that I am a grown-up now, but yet I'm still having the same questions as I did when I was younger, and I can't get off this merry-go-round. It almost feels like maybe I'm the only one to blame, like I'm at fault for this because I never really searched for those answers, really. If you think about it, I can't end the cycle, almost quite literally. So the cycle just keeps on repeating itself. I think that I'm not okay. I think that I'm becoming okay, and then I'm going back to not being okay. Anyway, holy shit! This man, the shift, like the first 5 songs, then you hear like the bell in number 29, and then it creates a complete shift musically, where BTS showcases a much more vulnerable side of themselves. Like it's no longer about talking shit, being, super confident. It's about being like exploring the feelings, like the sensitive side of BTS. So this is a really cool structure for this album.
속 회전목 하나 쳇바퀴나 매일 한 가지 답이 없는 질문 미궁 속에서의 질주 다들 괜찮은 척하며 웃고 있지 모두 다 I wish that I could tell you that it's over I wish that I could walk away from you My life is like a broken roller coaster But maybe I'm the only one to blame
down, just round and round. I'm falling apart, still bound to the ground. 어쩔 수 없는 거에 손에 동심이 소리치잖아. 원없이 타만큼 탔으니 breathe out.
Child in me is crying out. Damn. Oh. Coffin, caffeine.
생각하지 말잔 생각을 했나 뱅글 또 뱅글 행복하니 서주가까지.
Whoa. Even the way the song ends, it's like so unresolved because it's still part of that cycle. Like they don't provide a solution and they just provide their uncertainty, which makes the song that much more relatable. I don't know what it was. Relatable is what I wanted to say. But my bed is my coffin. Like this is the place that I look forward to basically die in, because the only time that I can get some peace is when I'm asleep, but also to express a little bit of like depression and just wanting to stay in bed and whatever. So the bed becomes my coffin, but also maybe my whole world is just one big caffeine. It could be, let's see. So the second line, it reframes the speaker's reality as a prolonged state of artificial stimulation where caffeine serves as the sole mechanism. So maybe this world is just one giant ass fucking, stimulant for me, and I'm not actually driven by this world. I'm not, the world drives me, I'm not driven by the world, if that makes sense. Like I don't have a purpose, but I still continue cycling on and on like a fucking hamster on a wheel. And again, thoughts and thoughts and thoughts. Like I continue spiraling with all these thoughts of how to stop, but in reality I just go back to the very fucking beginning, and keep smiling, which refers back to Jungi's line of everybody smiling because they would rather fake a smile than actually pretend to be happy and fake a smile than to actually be real, because you don't want to admit that you're not okay. The can't I just switch off this dream almost makes me think like they're like living inside of a simulation or something like that, some Matrix kind of shit. Like I just wish I could, switch this off and actually live a normal life or something like that. I also really love the line, J-Hope kind of like implying like the child inside of me is crying out. I've had more than enough on this spin, like, please take me out, ma, almost like a child that is stuck on like this carousel or like this, merry-go-round. If a child actually was, then someone would come in to save him and take him off this merry-go-round. But as you become an adult, no one can actually save you but yourself, but you don't know how to save yourself. So I do love this because it almost like puts you in a state of mind of BTS during like their like maybe darkest times, because again, we haven't had them as a whole group for a very long time. So I do believe that they provide a lot of like vulnerability, which is basically what this album is kind of like shifting to, from Swim to now Merry-Go-Round. So I absolutely adore this song because like it has like a repetitive nature to it that helps with the repetitiveness of the concept itself. And even the way the song ends, it does not provide a solution. It just provides BTS's state of mind at their most vulnerable selves. Pretty fucking spectacular song if you ask me. Oh, okay. Is this gonna be an inspirational song?
true. Will color me red, will color me blue. Two sides of a coin and they both ain't true. It's different from me, it's different for you.
Whoa.
Got me feeling things unusual, and I live in my.
Whoa. Wait, let's take it back. Holy shit. When Jimin says heavy is the head when you're chasing true, my dyslexic ass immediately read this line as heavy as the crown or something like that, which is literally what the adaptation is from this. So heavy is the head that wears the crown. Reframes it around the pursuit of authenticity, chasing true. So heavy is the head when it tries to chase authenticity, basically, which is kind of like what BTS has been doing, which resulted in them getting hate, as we talked about with something like Aliens. Like, they are unapologetically themselves and they're proud of their culture, and when they bring that culture to someplace else, they're being disrespected. There's also like the line, will you color me red or color me blue, which on a surface level I guess kind of like equates more so to like blue sadness, red maybe like passion or something like that. But I did read that it could go a little bit deeper within like a Korean like symbolism or something like that, or like a balance with the yin yang or something. But I'm not like too in tune with that to actually talk about it, so I'll feel free to let me know in the comment section. But damn, this is really, really cool already. So everything that we do, whether you show me love or show me hate, you make me bulletproof. The things that what doesn't kill me makes me stronger, basically makes me bulletproof since the very beginning, literally bulletproof in the actual name of BTS, you know. So that's also really, really cool. So everything that we go in life, we call it normal. What is normal for us though may not be normal for you, because we're the ones going through like this fame and hate and love and all this shit that we call normal. Like, it's a normal Tuesday for us, for example.
Chasing true, will color me red, will color me blue. Two sides of a coin and they both ain't true. It's different from me, it's different for you.
Got me feeling things unusual, and I live in my. Got me and my feelings ever on this wall, and my knees is kerosene, dopamine, chemical induced fantasy and fame, yet the things we trust. Show me hate, show me love, make me bulletproof. Yeah, we call this shit normal. Run away, out of sight, don't know what I want. Wish I had a minute just to turn me up. I can't receive dopamine, what I gotta do. Yeah, we call this shit normal. How I'm supposed to feel? Used to think that I was built to the hard metal still. Now I understand the truth, some pain don't heal. If everything's just happy, that ain't real. That ain't real. I've read everything I like 1,000 times. Normal and special, they are just some lies. One deep side and it slips away, fades away. What I try to keep, never want to stay.
Run away, pushing me, pulling me. Said you wanted all of me, but what is even all of me? Suddenly, part of me is hurting me. Heard the things they calling me. What the hell you want from me? Got me feeling things unusual, and I live in my.
Got me and my feelings ever on this wall, and my knees is
kerosene, dopamine, chemical induced fantasy and fame, yet the things we choose.
show me hate, show me love, make me bulletproof. Yeah, we call this shit normal.
Run away, out of sight, don't know what I want. we call this shit normal, yeah. No, we know, we call this shit normal.
Low-key, no, we know, even though they say no, it kind of sounds, no, we know we call this shit normal. Like, there's like, maybe there's like a little bit of a wordplay, like, we know that it's, not normal, but we call it normal. Like, I'm like almost like becoming, in a way, it's almost like becoming immune to all the shit because it becomes the norm. And whenever, something happens often enough, it just becomes the norm, I guess, right? I also really like the line, which apparently is a reference to a song that I actually checked out by Yoongi. So there's a line that says, normal and special, there are just some lines. It's a reference to people, where he says, special life, ordinary life, each in its own way. Your ordinary became my special. Your special became my ordinary became your special. My special became your ordinary. So back in 2018, there was a sentiment where he reflects and says, for me, I lost the ordinary. That's the biggest change. What that means is what's ordinary to others is very special to me, whereas what's special to others is very ordinary to me. Then, before you know it, your set of values changes, the values with which you see the world. So it is really, because what is special to you about BTS might be something, ordinary to them, or normal, no pun, whereas for BTS to see someone normal who has like a normal everyday life, who's not bombarded with like fame and hatred, and like can walk out of the fucking house without worrying about being like filmed, that kind of like your ordinary becomes their special, if that makes sense. Like what you wish for with their success is something that they actually wish for within you, if that makes sense. So on Genius.com, it actually says that the song addresses their fame and its corresponding cost, like adoration and hatred, a fast-paced, atypical life, and how they perceive both the limelights and lowlights as normal. Therefore, the song plays with juxtaposition. The abnormal lives where they went through since their pre-debut days up to now is normalized for all of them. Oh boy. I'm never closing my eyes. Whoa.
There's creatures that made it out to speak about your peace. There's beauty outside control. And we could go all night. We could go all night. And we should go all night. All night.
Whoa. Yo, this is my favorite song from the album. Holy shit.
Now you see a whole life full of animals. None of us are tameable. None of us are tameable.
Yo, I missed that, aggressive rock BTS. Holy shit, that was incredible. This chorus absolutely fucking slaps. I don't know what the instrumental reminds me of. I wanted to mention some sort of a band from like 10, 15 years ago, but I can't even remember what that band could even be. Okay, so there's one line that actually kind of like makes me feel like this song, and like I guess some of the lines are very self-explanatory. Like, if you want to be animals, we can be animals. Like, express your like primal instincts, the real you, and whatever. But um, the first verse with Yungi, take me into your deep. I wanna lay in your world. So what? Your shadow is a mess. I'm walking with my own dirt. Walking with my own dirt, like I have dirt on me. I'm not squeaky clean. I have darkness within me. So what if your shadow is a mess? I don't care about your shadow being a mess. Nobody's fucking perfect. The Shadow is a reference basically to their 2020 album. There was like an interlude, Map of the Soul 7, that was titled Shadow. The album and track discuss Carl Jung's concept of the shadow, the dark part of the psyche that one hides from the world or struggles to accept. Jung proposes that self-actualization can only be achieved by accepting and integrating the shadow into one's personality. Gonna go as far as even saying like Dark Passenger and reference Dexter, but that might be a little bit too dark. But if you want to be animals, we can be animals. Explore that primal instinct that makes us, I guess, not normal, no pun, like, that makes us like aliens to those who try to live in this world pretending to be fine, or pretending to be better, pretending to obey by standards and rules and whatever, when in reality they're miserable. So we can be animals and we can indulge in this fucking world until our heart is full, and we can have it all. There's nothing that we cannot have, as long as we're listening to the quote-unquote shadow within ourselves that we're afraid to embrace and show off to the world. Almost like a yin-yang kind of like thing, and like embracing it, if that makes sense. So like, even though the pre-chorus, we can go all night, let's go all night, we should go all night, does kind of like lend itself to being a little bit, suggestive, but at the same time, night is where the shadow is. So embrace the shadow. That's kind of how I'll take it. Obviously, like, I'm not, I swear, I'm not trying to ignore any like sensual shit, or or any like things that could be a little bit more suggestive. I can totally understand if that's how you take it, but I don't know, it's just like the whole shadow line and it being a reference to Map of the Soul as well, and even like the line, like 6 feet down in the sand, like almost like the things that we buried. There's creatures that made a hole. Do speak, I'm begging you. Speak your mind. Express yourself. There's beauty outside control. Like the beauty that is outside of your control, the beauty that is uncontrollable, that you're afraid to let out, is actually the thing that is going to liberate you. Like, embrace your inner like primal self, your animal. Got you into the wild somewhere so far with your claws sharp and them fangs out. Now you see a whole land full of animals. None of us is tameable. We cannot be tamed. We are wild and we are free to do whatever we want and to take this whole world by a storm, basically. So it's like, embrace the things that you were afraid of, and don't be scared of being your real you, or something like that. Or if you want, you can take this into a more like sensual kind of like sexy vibe with the we can go all night, whatever fits you, I guess. But I don't know, I just feel like in relation to the album it makes sense, because that's something that embracing animal instincts is something that makes you an abnormality. So BTS is experiencing something outside of normal, right? They're experiencing something that makes them, not just them, but you also feel more like an alien. And also, it's something that may get you off the merry-go-round as you found the answer by embracing your own shadow. I don't know, maybe I'm just trying too hard. Let's keep on going. Why do I imagine like a TV in the 60s or something right now?
I can show you love, I can show you. If you wanna know me, rocking out the fire. 대체 뭐가 달랐냐고 자꾸 물어. 나는 대답해, 나도 몰라. Everybody hear the story that they wanna. 쟤는 네가 때문에 됐어, 내가 맞아. We're just big boys, I got your 놈. 그냥 먹기 싸지, just shut up, shut up.
Hold up, tryna take a bubble bath, babe.
Bubble bath.
Do the method, go just say what you say. Oh, it's hard, then we cannot explain. Every time we
Something's hard.
explain, we find.
They don't know about us, they don't know about us. They don't know about us, they don't know about us. They don't know about us, they don't know about us. They don't know about us, they don't know about us.
Yeah, damn, ooh, damn right, ooh, damn right. Yeah, damn, ooh, damn right, ooh, damn right. Yeah, damn, ooh, damn right, ooh, damn right. Yeah, damn, ooh, damn right, ooh, damn right.
I can show you love, I can show you. If you wanna know me, what can I do?
Oh, show me your super tuna, Jin. What? Alright. That was a reference and nothing sexual, I'm sorry.
Ooh, damn right, ooh, damn right. Yeah, damn, ooh, damn right, ooh, damn right. Yeah, damn, ooh, damn right, ooh, damn right.
I can show you love, I can show you. If you wanna know me, what can I do for you? 대체 뭐가 달랐냐고 자꾸 물어. 나는 대답해, 나도 몰라.
항상 쉬운 길만 찾기 바빠 괜시리 오지랖들은 태평양쯤 baby 알기 쉽게 설명해줄까 baby
Break it down for me.
그대부터 끝까지
얘는 특별해 에이션 중에 영선 존재 Too hard to break We can't relate 그냥 사람 일곱인데 You said we changed We feel the same shit
Oh,
they don't know about us
damn.
they don't know
You said we changed. We feel the same. Damn, that's... Damn. Felt like suddenly Deftones Change plays in the background for me for some reason.
항상 쉬운 길만 찾기 바빠 괜시리 오지랖들은 태평양쯤 baby 알기 쉽게 설명해줄까 baby 몰라 그대부터 끝까지
얘는 특별해 에이션 중에 영선 존재 Too hard to break We can't relate 그냥 사람 일곱인데 You said we changed We feel the same shit
They don't know about us, they don't know about us. They don't know about us, they don't know about us. They don't know about us, they don't know about us. They don't know about us, they don't know about us.
Yeah, damn, ooh, damn right, ooh, damn right. Yeah, damn, ooh, damn right, ooh, damn right. Yeah, damn, ooh, damn right, ooh, damn right. Yeah, damn, ooh, damn right, ooh, damn right.
God damn. That was amazing. And that was, again, like it has like that gritty, almost like sexy vibe to it. So digging up online, the meaning of They Don't Know About Us is a defined response to public scrutiny, media narratives, and external perceptions about the group's identity and success. The song explores the frustration of being constantly questioned, misunderstood, and judged by people who don't truly know them while asserting their authentic selves against imposed narratives. The line "everybody hears the story they wanna" highlights how people construct their own narratives, basically, and the media and the public creates stories that fit their expectations, and BTS basically pushes back against it. They say we rose because of this, and then whatever. So they're rejecting labels and even stereotypes as well with the song. And the way even there was like a very interesting line that is actually a reference to Boy With Love a little bit. So J-Hope says, quote, "Some heroic beings too hard to break," end quote. "We can't relate, we're just 7 people though." Basically, J-Hope rejects the idea of being an extraordinary person, echoing his verse from the 2019 track Boy With Love, where he said, "Everyone says that I used to be so little and now I became a hero. I say that something like destiny was never my thing." So here, him just saying, we're just 7 people. And it's basically people who want to misunderstand and question and say that BTS has changed. BTS are kind of like clapping back by saying that those who say those things basically don't actually fucking know a thing about us, which is why the line repeats itself over and over again. That's the entire chorus, because no matter how many times we'll say it, the people will not stop creating those narratives and basically create a story or imply something about us that some people may consider as fact, when in reality, it's not at all. You said we changed, we feel the same. Shit. Like, it's such an interesting line because on one hand, like, the people that say it, they always say it about bands. Like, you changed, you're no longer like your old self or whatever. Like, they say it as a negative. I feel like BTS almost like say we feel the same, almost like a positive in a, like, it's both positive and a negative because they end it with shit, but at the same time, like, motherfucker, we should change after all these years from the beginning to now. If we didn't change, if we stayed the same, those same people would be talking shit about us being repetitive. Like, you cannot please like those toxic individuals that just make a profit by talking shit and pushing a narrative against BTS for whatever reason, right? So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Nothing that you do will ever make everyone fucking satisfied. So I love, like, even like RM saying, like, take a bubble bath, like, chill, relax, you know. And also he says it's hard and that we cannot explain. Every time we try not to explain, we find that they don't know about us. So it's like, even if we try to explain who we are, where we come from, what are those 7 members of BTS, as basically, you know, J-Hope talked about, we're just 7 people. We're not some heroic beings that you put on a pedestal. We're just 7 human beings that do what we do for the love of music. So it doesn't matter how much we explain ourselves, you're never going to understand it because it doesn't benefit you at the end of the day. At least that's how I kind of see it. Like, everybody hears the story that they popped off because this one thing, for sure, we just big boys, aka country kids, which is basically used historically. The Korean term is used as a derogatory label for someone from the countryside, implying lack of sophistication or urban refinement. In this context, BTS reclaims the term, pairing it with big boys to assert self-aware identity rooted in original. Again, that's like what I was talking about throughout like this entire fucking album. BTS is cementing themselves as proud of who they are, where they come from, and they will continue to include the culture the traditional elements, the lyrics that refer to whatever uh, human being or historical like context within Korean history and all that kind of stuff. Like they're never going to let that go because they're proud of it. So what you use country kids in the Korean term, almost like to use it as a derogatory term, we use it as something that is something that we're proud of, you know? And also saying they popped off because of this one thing. It's like they always say it about bands that made it big. Like, oh, they're never gonna top this. If it wasn't for this song, there wouldn't be like this big and whatever. Like they say it about every single band that made bank ever.
언젠간 너로 만나 한참을 울게 되게 지난 그 골목길에 서 있었어 Falling back to me I feel you back to me 두려운 건 벌써 슬픈 건 너무 닮아버린 그림자
24 hours in the top 24 hours of your thoughts easy don't wake me up 꾸미면 깨기 싫어 fantasy it's a fantasy it's a fantasy you're my fantasy let's repeat it one more night give me one more night give me one more fantasy 이번엔 왼쪽은 like cloud9 어제와 길이 side by side 이런 변화에 나도 놀라 존재 자체로 선물이야 너와 함께만 낫지 머리 없어 변화해 굳이 난 말 대신 그저 곁에만 있어줘 24 hours in the top 24 hours of your thoughts easy don't wake me up 꾸미면 깨기 싫어 fantasy it's a fantasy it's a fantasy you're my fantasy let's repeat it one more night give me one more night give me one more fantasy falling 변함 없이 너의 멸류가 너를 one more night going 변함 없이 배모르는 여름밤의 꿈을 Golden moonlight 설레 같은 넌
Ooh.
아름다워져 내 곁에서 어둠을 깨서 단한 번만 더 볼 수 있다면 새벽을 지나 hit it, do it again 24 hours in the top 24 hours of your thoughts easy don't wake me up 꾸미면 깨기 싫어 fantasy it's a fantasy it's a fantasy you're my fantasy let's repeat it one more night give me one more night give me one more fantasy close your eyes tell me what you see baby I give it to you no lie every night is a fantasy baby I give it right in your time
Yeah, that was a beautiful fucking song. Like this whole album is like such a wild freaking experience. But this song was such a feel good kind of song, and you know, obviously like a little bit more. I feel like straightforward than you know, some other songs. So let me be lazy this time and read straight up from the actual about section on genius.com without actually like going too deep into the lyrics, because you know, I do feel like it's very like meaningful. Like if this is a dream, do not wake me up, because like being with you in this moment is something that I would give my entire life for, or something along those lines. So the song One More Night centers on the desire to prolong a meaningful moment, particularly in the context of love or connection. The title expresses a simple yet powerful idea: the wish to extend time, even briefly, before separation or change occurs. The lyrics highlight emotional urgency. The phrase One More Night reflects a temporary suspension of reality, where the speaker seeks to hold on to a relationship or feeling that he that may be fading or uncertain. This introduces a tension between the present moment and the inevitability of time passing. There's also an element of vulnerability as the speaker openly expresses dependence on the moment, obviously revealing emotional attachment and the fear of separation. The tone reinforces the intimacy as like the tones were like very like high and gentle and very vulnerable, almost like angelic. And you hear like the intention behind every single one of the songs, whether it's a song that is a little bit more aggressive, a song where they're a little bit more vulnerable, open in a romantic way, open in a soft kind of like human way, aggressive in a talk your shit, aggressive in a let's be like fucking animals. Like there's like intention behind every single one of the song and the tones themselves. The key theme for the song is impermanence. The song suggests that certain experiences, especially emotional ones, are fleeting. This awareness intensifies the value of the present, making each moment feel more significant. And the request is therefore not just literal but symbolic of resisting change and loss. There is, like I mentioned, Selene. So Selene is the Greek goddess of the moon, often depicted as driving a chariot across the night sky. In mythology, she represents the moon's light and its power to illuminate darkness. By likening their significant others to Selene, the lyrics positions that person as a source of light and constancy in the midst of darkness. So, they definitely did an incredible job with this one in terms of really signifying the person that they're singing to as like the one light that shines the entire light on them, the end all and be all of their entire fucking existence. Like that's how intense it was, like their the significance of the person that they're singing to. Like you're a gift just by existence, everything is understood without words. So instead of something grandiose, just stay here right next to me. Like we don't need to speak. I just like your presence is enough all by itself, and if this is a dream, then I don't ever want to fucking wake up. Like it was a really beautiful, wholesome song. And I feel like it was a very much needed change of pace with how powerful this album has been going. To have a song where you can kind of like lay back a little bit and just kind of like enjoy yourself. It is like a very dreamy kind of song, a very like a fun instrumental. Like I feel like structurally it was definitely a nice decision to have a song like this after all the craziness that we just experienced. What thing?
세상은 말야 항상 우리 사이 맞지 결국엔 우린 돌고 돌아서 제자리 You and me just all day, all night Hold me from the front, back, left, right I need you like only on mine Oh, you got me, baby, like oh, please 세상이 우리 갈라놓을 때 Baby, oh, please 한 걸음 더 다가설게
Wonder what that thing is. I'm sorry, Mature, I'm sorry.
on me from the front, back, left, right. I need you like on me, on my. Oh, you got me, like.
Baby, oh, please.
That little giggle.
Baby, oh, please. I'm on my knees. 함께 해줘 나의 worst day. 나도 say I get right now. Even hell, I'm down. All I want is you. If you wanna, I'll do that thing for you. If you wanna, I'll do a thing for you. If you wanna, I'll do that thing for you. If you wanna, baby, oh please.
Ooh. Oh, that was such a nice touch.
Baby, oh please. 한 걸음 더 다가설게. I'm on my
It feels even more desperate because of the muted instrumental.
right now. Even hell, I'm down. All I want is you.
Yo, that was so pretty. It is interesting, the contrast between One More Night and then Please. Because like both do portray like desperation, but I feel like Please even more so. Because there's like a world that divides us, and there's nothing that I wouldn't do to be with you. So even hell, I am down to go through. I'm on my knees pleading and begging, and if you wanna, I'll do the thing for you. I mean, which thing is that? Because I don't think that it means cooking, unless you're doing the cooking someplace in a more intimate room. Anyway, my immaturity aside, finally I get to be immature with this album a little bit. Balance, it's all about balance. So according to Genius.com, the song Please is a love song from BTS. Shocker. It came from the campaign What Is Your Love Song and fit perfectly the theme by describing a love in the day and in the night. The members are yearning for this love and are on their knees metaphorically. Baby, they're not on their knees metaphorically. Out of everything, what is not metaphorical is being on your knees, if you catch my drift. Anyway, my cup runneth over. What in the Shakespeare was that? Okay, my cup runneth over is a phrase originating from Psalm 23:5 in the Bible. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. In the original context, it signifies abundance, blessing, and divine provision beyond what can be contained. Here, the lyric repurposes the phrase to express emotional fullness derived from a person rather than a spiritual source. The invitation to come and get a sip, extends to this abundance outward, suggesting that the speaker's fulfillment is so great that it can be shared. The following lines about eternity and reliance reinforce the sense of total investment in the subject, framing them as a singular source of the speaker's sense of sufficiency. So there are some similarities between this and One More Night. Some similarities, but at the same time, I do feel like Please feels a little bit more poetic, whereas One More Night is a little bit more, I guess, straightforward, if I had to kind of like distinguish the two. Obviously, structurally, musically rather, they sound completely different, but at the same time, this feels a lot more grand. Please, beautiful song, like truly a wonderful fucking song. Again, I feel like with all the craziness, we had like so much hype in this album, then so much emotions in this album. Now to have two songs that more or less kind of like are more straightforward in the sense of you can interpret them as a love song, whether you want to go further and be like, this is for the fandom. I hate that I always have to reiterate this, because ever since I started reacting to K-pop, it's almost like I was conditioned to almost feel like an idiot whenever I would dare think that this is a song for like a romantic purpose. The comments would always be, no, this is a song about the fandom. Not specifically BTS, just K-pop in general. Whenever there's like a romantic theme, there's always any fandom is out there saying, no, this is about the fandom. And whenever a group represents like a girl, it actually means fandom. They're fucking adults. They're grown-ass men that concluded their fucking military service. They can sing about romantic interest, and they fucking have my blessings to do it, because that is very much welcome. And they had their individual songs, their solo songs obviously go even further than that if you think about it in terms of like innuendos and whatever. I think whatever. Anyway, that was beautiful. I went out on a bit of a rant for some reason, but we are concluding the album reaction now with the final song, Into the Sun.
Baby, you remind me I want someone like you. First and never dying. I want someone like you. Nobody knows me, honey. No.
They don't know about us.
If you wanna go there, I'm ready to be with you. No, you call, I run dark days and find the sun. I don't care how far, just wait. Baby, what you want? Baby, what you need? Tell me how you feel. Every night I'm thinking of 해질 때의 바람, 해들 때의 온도. 네가 느껴야 할 저녁부터 아침의 별. 이른 너의 걸 좀 이른 어둠에 묻어 눈동이 뜰 때까지 널 지키며 into the sun. 24, 24 7 feel like 24 태양을 향해 뛰어도 가까워지진 않아도. Oh no, don't be afraid. 기억해 그저 잠시 보는 걸. 어두운 밤을 지나.
Hold up, because 24 like feels like 24. Like the repetition on 24 was very intriguing to me. The lyric plays on the with the concept of time by separating the numerals in 24/7, the common shorthand for 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, meaning constantly or without rest. Suga sings 24, pauses, and then delivers the 7, drawing attention to the number 7, which holds. Oh, okay, interesting. The line conveys that even the constant, round-the-clock nature of their schedule or public life ultimately circles back to the group itself and the 7 members who define that experience. The repetition of 24 at the end reinforces the cyclical feeling of time under demanding circumstances. Yo, that was dope. That took me by surprise.
What you want, baby, what you need? Tell me how you feel. Every night I'm thinking of 해질 때의 바람, 해들 때의 온도. 네가 느껴야 할 저녁부터 아침의 별. 이른 너의 걸 좀 이른 어둠에 묻어 눈동이 뜰 때까지 널 지키며 into the sun. 24, 24 7 feel like 24 태양을 향해 뛰어도 가까워지진 않아도. Oh no, don't be afraid. 기억해 그저 잠시 보는 걸. 어두운 밤을 지나 아침이 오는 건 아침에 눈을 떠 into the sun. You're cold, I'm wild.
Run BTS.
And find the sun. I don't care how far, just wait. 겨누때 시간 부서진 짐승들의 나침반. 우리들의 피난 소란들과 미련 앞 숨쉬며 반항하는 인간. 난 집에 가고파. 네가 있는 곳 불이 뜨고
별 지는 곳 모르got 내 조의 기름 속넌 멋지고 살아남아 뜨지 않을 거야 오늘.
And if we run out of time, I'll chase the feeling.
Jim.
Never too far behind. Your cry, I find dark days and find the sun. I don't care how far, just
Oh, oh, that is beautiful. That is an awesome outro. Yeah, I kind of had that thought when the lyrics came up. You call, I run. I don't care how far. It kind of like reminds me of a little bit of Swim if you think about it in terms of like the Lily Reinhardt symbolism of Army itself, basically. Which is one of the metaphors. There's a few interpretations, I guess, if you think about it, but this song more so actually feels like a perfect song for like Army itself. So apparently this song, I actually didn't go through like each of the songs and who wrote what. I think Diplo will produce one of the songs or something like that. But Into the Sun specifically, I'm saying it because it just popped up on my search page here, was co-written by V. So it's a deeply emotional melodic track centered on a heartfelt confession of love and devotion, symbolizing a fearless, unwavering commitment to run toward a loved one. Run BTS, run bulletproof, run beautiful, you know, all that kind of shit, which is kind of nice. The lyrics describe guiding someone out of darkness and into light, often interpreted as a promise to stay together through difficult times. It focuses on protecting someone at the edge of darkness and leading them towards the warmth of dawn into the sun. Like going through like a dark day, it's always the darkest before dawn, you know, to quote fucking The Dark Knight, you know. So at the end of every dark day, you will always be welcomed with the warmth of like the sun and whatever, you know. So I feel like this is if any of the songs are a perfect song for like the fandom, it's definitely this one. However, you can also like take different meanings towards like loving someone in a romantic way, in a friendly way, the members themselves and whatever, or just you know, a fandom song as well. The Hour of the Dog and Wolf, it was an interesting line. Apparently, the Hour of the Dog and Wolf refers to the French expression, which I'm not going to actually try to pronounce, the hour between dog and wolf, which describes twilight, the moment when fading daylight makes it difficult to distinguish a dog from a wolf. Oh man, that is actually kind of genius. It metaphorically represents a liminal space between two states, safety and danger, the familiar and the threatening, or the end of one phase and the beginning of another. So like literally it's always the darkest before dawn. You think it's going to be the scariest time of your life, but then sunshine rises upon you and you feel the warmth and fuzziness and you'll love again. Anyway, the image sets the tone for the following lines, which continue to explore thresholds and ambiguity. The compass of the broken beast suggests a guiding mechanism for those who are damaged or outcast, pointing towards an alternative direction. So you run, you call, I run, dark days and find the sun. I don't care how far, just wait dawn, just wait through it and you know, you will find the sun again. Like this was an amazing song, and honestly, if you kind of like think about it, it's a perfect conclusion to this album as a whole. Like I feel like this entire album, like the structure was absolutely incredible. I love the fact that it started so aggressively, so gritty. It had like a dirty vibe to it. But then like the number 29, which is like the divine bell, symbolism creates the shift to create a more not meaningful but more vulnerable vibe as we start with swim, merry-go-round, swimming against the current no matter what, feeling lost with the merry-go-round, feeling normal in a sea of abnormality, but because you do this thing that is called fame and BTS for such a long time, it has become your normal. And then feeling like animals because there's a primal instinct within you to do something outside of the quote-unquote normal, so you can get everything that you've ever wanted and feed until your heart desires, by becoming like an animal. And then They Don't Know About Us is like, no matter how much we talk to you about, like even the song Aliens, like no matter how much we talk to you about how much shit you put us through and you treat us with such disrespect, you still don't know a shit about us. And there is something, like, if you think about it, also a little bit more sad, because some of the people that talk about BTS changing or you're not the same as you were, those are people that used to like us that now think that we changed. So it almost like creates like a double meaning within, like, not just, Western media making a mockery of us and being, jealous and whatever, but also even those who were our fans think that we changed without realizing that change is supposed to happen, but we still maintain the same principle as we did from day one. Rise above hate, all the lyrics from fucking Body to Body, put the guns, the knives, the keyboards down, ditch the hate. Like that is like the core of it all, really. So, and then like the desperation and the vulnerability and the love songs with One More Night and Please were really, really nice. And then Into the Sun as kind of like conclude everything as at the end of a dark day, it's always the darkest before dawn, to quote Dark Knight again. Anyway, this was a gorgeous fucking album. One of the best albums of the year for sure. Without a fucking doubt. I think, I'm not even sure which song is my favorite. Like Animals might be it. At the same time, Fire was incredible. Probably a second favorite. Body to Body was incredible. Every single song was fucking incredible. But my top three would probably be like Animals, Fire, and Body to Body. The rest kind of like whatever number you put them in. There's no particular order. I enjoyed every single fucking song on this album. So this was amazing. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If I made any sense, let me know if you watched the entire video. Thank you so fucking much. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, but it's probably going to be more than an hour and 20 for sure. If you stayed that long, thank you so much. Make sure to like this video, comment your thoughts. Anything that I missed, feel free to let me know, and I'll catch you all next time. Beginning of April, we'll be checking out the documentary over at Patreon, and there's a ton of content for BTS over at Patreon as well. Check out the description for a full list, and be well and safe wherever you are. Catch you all next time. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and be well and safe wherever you are. See ya.